you are very familiar with this, and I want you to set it up. So put it up there on the screen. The constitutionality of the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, is currently up before the court. So can you explain this to us for the layperson? Even I barely understand it. It's something to do with Congress and funding and an independent agency.
Yeah, all the articles refer to this as Elizabeth Warren's baby, but I spent so much time covering it.
Yeah, it's actually your baby. That's right.
My God baby.
Okay.
So, yeah, I covered this every day for a couple years while Warren was pushing it through the House and the Senate in 2009 and 2010. And the huge fights were over how it would be constructed. And there were two key questions. One, which has been litigated and they have successfully won, was would it be a commission where you get 2 Republicans, 3 Democrats, 3 Democrats?
Right. Like the FEC, the FCC. Yeah.
Or would it be a single director? The progressives fought for a single director because they said if you have a single director, it's going to be much tougher. The banks wanted a commission that they could then capture.
Yep.
Like they've done with all the other ones. They litigated that. They lost. So now the other major fight was the funding stream. Republicans wanted it funded in an annual appropriations way.
Yeah, like a normal, like the Department of Defense, something like that.
Right. So that way, if the Republicans control, or if a bank-friendly Democrat controls the financial, the banking committee over the Senate, they can write to the CFPB and say, we're not giving you funding until you change this rule.
Right.
Or until you do this thing.
Yep.
And that is part of the process of corporate capture of our regulatory institutions. And so they came up with this, they call it unique. I don't know if it's exactly unique, but it kind of is. This structure where the money is sent to the Federal Reserve for the Federal Reserve's operating expenses. And then the Federal Reserve can then funds the CFPB with no more than 12% of the Federal Reserve's operating budget.
And their earnings or something. I don't really.
And now the argument for why it's constitutional is that the Congress appropriates the money for the Federal Reserve's operating budget. It appropriates the money for Social Security, for Medicare. That doesn't do it in an annual way, and that the Fed could not produce from thin air this type of funding. But as long as it's authorized by statute, by Congress, and if Congress doesn't like it, they can change it. And there have been efforts in the past by Republicans to, when there's like a CR going through in the early days, to change the structure of the way that the CFPB is funded. And those failed. But if you're Kavanaugh and you're going to be consistent, you should say, look, Congress, if you don't like this, why are you complaining to us about it?
You changed the law.
You wrote this law.
Right.
You don't like it. Go change the law. And Democrats are so sick of hearing that from the Supreme Court. That was the Clean Air Act.
Yes.
Like you want to add carbon to this?
Right.
Go ahead and add carbon. Nothing's stopping you. And so you could make the exact same argument to Republicans here, saying, look, you don't like it, win some elections, change it. But as of now, the statute is very clear. And Congress wrote the statute. It's not like the administrative state wrote this statute. So I think that's why only this one judge on the Fifth Circuit has ruled that this is an unconstitutional funding structure. Like everybody, like from the, I don't want to like middle right over is like you have to be way Fifth Circuit. You have to be like a radical on the Fifth Circuit, where other Fifth Circuit Republicans are like, whoa, that guy's out there.
But that doesn't mean, though, that it won't still get struck down.
It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't. It seems like from the conventional wisdom seems to be that it'll be fine.
Okay. Got it. So let's put this on the screen, because David Dayen wrote up a little bit of this, and he says, the conservative legal strategy to kneecap the administrative state continues yesterday with the ruling that calls into question the operation of the CFPB. If ultimately successful, the ruling would lead to significant collateral damage that destroyers of consumer protection haven't thought through. The case found that the funding mechanism, CFPB, unconstitutional, would throw all consumer financial markets into upheaval because it would potentially toss aside every agency and federal program that is not funded directly through discretionary discretionary congressional appropriation threatening healthcare, retirement security, food and drug safety, all kinds of other actions. So what he's getting to is that the way that agencies are funded is different than the way that, let's say, overall appropriations, discretionary spending is given out, and that by opening up discretionary spending to the political process, you could make it kind of like the IRS or any of these other organizations. So it is an interesting case, actually.
He points out like the OCC and the FDA and other places like that are funded by industry. Like FDA is heavily funded by user fees,
which is not great.
Which is not great either. Yeah. Also not unconstitutional.
Yes.
Yeah. And he makes a funny point in his piece there. Banks, be careful what you wish for. The administrative state that exists now is a place to not just to support the American people and consumers, but also businesses.
Oh, of course.
There's a bunch of like safe harbor protections that exist within the regulations that say to a bank, if you follow these laws, or any type of lender, if you follow these laws, then you have safe harbor from lawsuits around these types of things. And banks are well aware that plaintiffs' attorneys are extremely powerful.
Yes.
And so they like those legal protections.
Yeah, because they can play inside the game.
And so if those legal protections go away, guess what? All of a sudden now, everybody's getting sued all over the place.
That'll be fun. I don't know. I don't know which one I wish for on this one.
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.